Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into the extended European outlook. So this is your 30-day forecast with the ECMWF extended model. We will be looking at weeks 5 and 6 as well, but traditionally this is a 30-day slash month-end forecast for Europe, and I shall get on with that view in a moment. Just say that first, a video release today was the 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also got a 10 to 14 there, including all our break features coming up for you later on this afternoon as well. So please like, share and subscribe on the video. Thank you so much everybody for doing that, and thank you so much to ECM.WF.INT for supplying the charts as well. Thank you so much, EC. Right, going to start off with the week 1 mean sea level pressure anomaly for Europe. This taking us through the week we're currently in, week 17 through to 24th of April. Large area of high pressure dominating from Scandinavia to the north of the UK and Ireland and out into North Atlantic to Iceland and Greenland. Low pressure underneath it coming in from the Atlantic into some southern and southwestern parts of Europe. It looks like wind will be coming in from the east across much of northern Europe. Here's the 500 millibar height anomaly for this week. Again, we see this large blocking area of high pressure from Greenland through to Scandinavia and northern Europe. A trough of low pressures underneath that across Europe and in the southeast as well. And the winds coming in from the east across much of northern Europe. So here's a temperature anomaly for this week. Unexpectedly cooler than average for the UK, at least for England and Wales anyway. And below average across much of France also. The Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, they're looking quite chilly, as does parts of southern and western Germany too. Also some cooler than average temperatures here in the southeastern corner of Europe, from the Balkans to the Black Sea, and then southwards through Romania towards Greece and possibly onto Turkey and into southern parts of Italy and the central part of Mediterranean as well. Also with colder than average temperatures. Not cold everywhere. Some parts of northern and northeast Europe are quite mild. So we've got the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, back into west of Russia, looking mild through there. And many parts of Scandinavia are looking mild as well, particularly Denmark and southern regions of Sweden, and also up into Norway, eastern Sweden, and over Baltic Sea towards Finland. There we see things are a little bit cooler. West of that into Spain, Portugal, significantly hotter than average. I say hot because the temperature anomaly is around 3 to 6 degrees above average, so that should be pretty warm across those central inland parts of Spain, and that warmth does extend into the western bowl of Mediterranean, so the Balearic Islands of Minorca, and Ibiza, they're looking a little bit warmer than average. It gets cooler though further eastwards towards Corsica, Sardinia, and also into Italy. Here's a precipitation anomaly for this week. So varying from area to area, very dry conditions across Spain and Portugal, generally dry through the central bowl of Med 2. A little bit more unsettled through Italy, down towards some of the Greek islands and into the Balkans, over the Adriatic to the Balkans, and particularly towards the Black Sea. Around the northern and western shores of the Black Sea looks quite wet there. Also some above average precipitation through parts of eastern southern England and into northeastern France, the Low Countries, and also northwestern parts of Germany. That's because of precipitation being fed in on those easterly winds, of course. North of that, it gets generally drier than normal in these northeastern parts of Europe once again, and over towards Scandinavia, especially central northern parts of Scandinavia, looking a little bit on the dry side. Scotland and Ireland also coming out drier than average this week. Okay, that's week 1. Week 2 will be the 24th of April to the 1st of May. The blocking begins to retreat further northwards up towards Greenland and Iceland, allowing the low pressure in the Atlantic to start moving northwards as well. So it's more unsettled through the northwest Europe. At the same time, though, some high pressure building from North Africa into the central region of the Mediterranean. 500 millibar height anomaly looks like that. So some higher pressure beginning to get going across some southern and southwestern parts of Europe. Lower pressure in the Atlantic pushing into northern and western Europe. The high pressure beginning to retreat over towards the towards the high pressure over Greenland, beginning to retreat to the Canadian side of the Arctic. How was that? And the temperature anomaly then looks like this. So quite cold across Scandinavia in this week, below average through Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and over Baltic Sea towards Finland. Even a little bit of cool down around the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania, though still largely above average through there. Also, cold average temperatures through Northern Ireland and Scotland, go nearer normal for the rest of Ireland, England and Wales. Generally milder than average in the far east from the Black Sea up towards the west of Russia. And then in the west, it also looks relatively mild, particularly through Spain. Portugal looks quite hot through there. Temperature anomalies in central Spain up to 6 to 10 degrees above average, good gracious me. And above average through much of France and into southern parts of Germany as well. Probably getting milder through the Low Countries too. Eastern Germany to Poland, and then into the southeastern corner of Europe there, it may be a little bit cooler, although it is above average around the Adriatic and into the Balkans. And then precipitation-wise, it's wetter in the north and the west. So you see above average rainfall quite widely across northern and western Europe. It does look like quite a wet week, I have to say, through the last week of April, especially so for the UK and for Ireland, but also through northern parts of France, into the Low Countries, Germany, Poland as well, and then northwards around the Baltic Sea and into Scandinavia, looking pretty wet in much of northern and western Europe. At the same time, it's turning dry across southern Europe, so continuing dry through Spain, and those dry conditions then extending into the central part of the Mediterranean as well. Over on the eastern side of the Med, there we see, and it could be a little bit more showery again, particularly from Greece, particularly over towards Turkey as well, and up towards the Black Sea. Right, week 3 will be the 1st to the 8th of May. Here we go. So a little bit of a change in this week. Some higher pressure around the Bay of Biscay into France, low pressure to the north of Scotland, and some low pressure into the east and southeast of Europe as well for the first week of May. Quite a weak signal, though. 500 millibar height anomaly has the ridge of above average heights to our south and southwest, and also across the northern parts of Scotland. There could be some lower pressure coming through here, maybe. Temperature anomalies for week 3 are getting milder across western parts of Europe. So we see that for the UK, for Ireland through France, it's above average with temperature anomaly. Very warm through some parts of France, hot through Spain, Portugal, and into North Africa. Much of the Mediterranean from Spain to Italy with above average temperatures as well. A little bit cooler out towards Greece and Turkey, maybe, and in the far northeast Europe, it could be cooling down there. So where we're in this white area through here, I suspect that it may be starting to cool down a little bit through those areas. Lots of mildest across the west of Europe in the first week of May, week 3. Precipitation-wise, it's going to be a weakening signal, but drier than average in the, or wetter than average, I should say, in the east and southeastern part of the bed, drier than average through the central bowl of the bed. Otherwise, a weak signal, but you can see around little areas of green around the map here, suggesting that, if anything, it could be a little bit on the unsettled side, I think, in parts of Ireland, the UK, Low Countries, Germany, maybe northern France, southern Scandinavia, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and whatnot. Could be just a little bit more unsettled through those, though it is a very weak signal by this point. Week 4 will be the 8th to the 15th of May. So very weak signal for low pressure to be sat in the North Sea there, with some high pressure in the southeastern portion of the Med. Otherwise, again, very weak signals. The 500 millibar heights for week 4 look like that. Again, a very weak signal, a bit of a mid-Atlantic ridge signal maybe. Some higher pressure through here. Otherwise, it's quite difficult to decipher there. Temperature anomaly is a little bit on the low side through northern parts of Europe, particularly through Sweden over Baltic Sea and towards Finland, maybe. Down to Mediterranean, milder through there, warmer through the Med from Spain, Portugal, over towards Greece and Turkey. It's generally quite a warm scene. Otherwise, the signal is very weak for the temperature across many parts of Europe, and also precipitation-wise is a weak signal. But again, ongoing signal with these green areas here, but they're only weakly there. They are there, so an ongoing signal may be rather unsettled across some northern and western parts of Europe. Looks drier to the north of Scandinavia, and of course down into the Med looks relatively dry as well. have to emphasise it is a very weak signal. Right, that's your 30-day forecast done, but let's go through weeks 5 and 6 data before we go, because why not? So week 5 will be the 15th, 22nd of May. Here it is. Again, a very weak signal. There is a bit of mid-Atlantic ridge going on through here, which you will think is probably going to be bringing in really a cool northwesterly wind to the northwest Europe. At the same time, we've got some higher pressure in the southeast of Europe. That could bring up some warmer, hotter winds from the south into the eastern part of Europe. The 500 millibar height anomaly gets a very weak signal, but we do see that we have got the suggestion of high pressure in the middle of the Atlantic, which normally means a trough of low pressure and a dip in the jet stream through the north and the west of Europe, doing something a little bit like that. This ridge down across southern Europe could be bringing up hotter air into this east and southeastern part of Europe. Very speculative, but that's a possibility. The temperature anomaly is really weak. Warmer than average, strongly signal for southern Europe. Otherwise, very weak signals. It's a bit cold on average through France, for example. A little bit mild on average around Scotland. But the signals are so weak, but I don't think you can draw too many conclusions there. And it does look rather wet, though, with the precipitation anomaly here through, northern Germany into the Low Countries, Denmark, some parts of Sweden, and whatnot, coming out a bit wet through there, dry across southern Europe. And then week 6 will be the 22nd of May to the 29th, almost a month's end. That's how it looks. Again, very weak signals, some sort of high pressure close to Iceland and also Ireland. Low pressure down towards the southern parts of Spain. That's probably the ever-present heat low, though, so I doubt that's doing much in the way of precipitation. And still a bit of a signal for a mid-Atlantic ridge here. So I'm not sure this is a terribly good signal for northern and western Europe for May. It's a very weak signal. But that mid-Atlantic ridge, which is there throughout most of the month, probably corresponds back to a dip in the jet stream like that. Now, for northwest Europe, this could be rather cool and unsettled, May being indicated here. Temperature nominals no better than average through Germany, northern France, Low Countries, a little bit cooler than average. Southern Europe even starting to lose that signal to be significantly warmer. Precipitation-wise, again, such a weak signal, but you can't redraw any conclusions. So it does all get rather sketchy from around the beginning of May onwards, but there is that ongoing signal through May of the mid-Atlantic ridge, which usually will correspond back to a dip in the jet stream and a trough of low pressure. It's got to be low pressure corresponding to high pressure, so normally you get a trough of low over northern Europe when you have a mid-Atlantic ridge. And so a cool and unsettled May might be on the cards here for some northern and western parts of Europe. Drier, hotter across southern, eastern and southeastern parts of Europe, maybe, as, the weather always looks for equilibrium. So the north and western Europe is cooler and wetter. The south and southeast, or the east and southeast, will usually be drier and warmer in the summer. Right, okay, well, that's it for your European outlook for this week. Remember, any forecast beyond 5-7 days comes with big health warnings and large pinches of salt attached. So it could look completely different when we look at this again on Saturday morning. And that one, of course, has the focus just on the UK and Ireland. And we will do our next extended European outlook with this model next Tuesday, as ever. We'll be back later on with a 10 to 14 day update. So come back to the channel a little bit later on for this week's extended European outlook. That's all for now. And thanks for watching.